everyone. Welcome back to Undeniable Proof. You guys, I am so excited for today's episode. I'm going to tell you the reason why. I'm sure you've seen the movie The Secret. Well, have you ever wondered what it would be like to have a conversation with one of those people from that movie? And you know the first time when we met, I was like, you got to watch The Secret.
Oh my God. That was like, honestly, it must have been one of the very first movies we watched together, like on a date. And I remember you being so passionate about it. You're like, you have to watch it. You have to watch it. And incredible.
But what's crazy is that like The Secret changed my life, right? I remember like coming out and like tuning into it right when I was first starting to learn about my own psychic ability and about the energies between us. And the moment that I saw that movie, it just related to me. And I was like, oh my God, like where has this been? Like I can't imagine my life without it. It truly is a secret. And Imagine that there was people who knew about this before the movie actually began. Well, we have one of those people here with us today. His name is Mike Dooley. He is an expert in the law of attraction. He is here, and he was the original. He's the OG. He was practicing this far before most of you have learned about this. So, Mike, it's so great to be here with you.
Hey, Matt, Alexa, it's an honor. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, we are so excited. I have so many questions. I think I'm just going to get right into it because, okay, Mike, I got myself into a little bit of a pickle here. So I'm going to ask the question and then I'll let you answer and I'll tell you why I'm asking it. So can you manifest something by accident?
We do it all the time. The thing about The Secret is it's an ongoing program, superpower. We are non-stop streaming manifestors. And I think the reason The Secret resonated with everyone the way it did and still does is because when we're exposed to the truth, I mean, and there are some absolutes out there that hold this magical reality together. It's like, oh, I knew that. And finally, people understood how it doesn't serve them to be focusing on, dwelling on, speaking about those things they dislike or that they don't want in their life. That makes a difference. It holds it there. Whereas change the channel in your mind, and it's easier to do than most suspect. Start entertaining some thoughts and realign your focus to more of what you do like, even if it's not yet in your life. That's how you get it in your life. So The Secret is about coming online and learning how life has been working, not how it might start working. And then you are the moving part. You're the variable. Change your focus, change everything.
That's amazing. And I ask because, and luckily this was a positive manifest, but I swear it's something. So Matt and I have our toddler Royce, who's almost 3. And then we just had our baby Rowan, who is 3 months now. And my first birth was very traumatic, but my second was amazing. It was very healing. It was an incredible experience. For some reason, going from 1 to 2 kids was an easy transition for me. Mm-hmm. And I walked around and I said, wow, this was great. Honestly, I could have 10 kids. I could do this again. Oh, this was so easy. I could have 10 kids. And I am now pregnant, 3 months postpartum.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're just as shocked as you.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. Honestly, it's a happy thing. We've always wanted a bunch of kids, and especially me. I love being a mom. I love our life with our children. I love my babies, but I believe I manifested this a little quicker than I wanted to. But luckily, it was a positive thing.
Well, wait. First of all, let me just tell Mike in. She definitely did, Mike, because the first birth that she had with Royce was like so traumatic because it was an emergency C-section. I wasn't here. I was across the country. I couldn't get back in time. Her water broke. She went to the hospital, had to go in for surgery. Like with the baby was born within 3 hours. I mean, it was crazy from the moment that her water broke all the way up till going to the hospital. It was just insane. And then the thing is that it took you a long time to recover with postpartum and she just went through hell. And then when we tried for a second child, we weren't having the luck that we did the first time. It took about a year's time to have this kid. And I mean, and we tried. And we're like, what is going on? And we got tested and everything was fine and it wasn't happening. And then Alexa had this birth and it went fantastic. And then she was out gloating around saying like, oh my God, I just, this healed me. I want to get pregnant. Like you said, I want to get pregnant right away.
I literally said I could do this again tomorrow.
And it happened first try, Mike. And it's like so rare. It's like,
it's so crazy.
It's so rare. They were like, oh yeah, it's like not supposed to happen. We don't even know how many weeks she is right now.
I have no idea.
Gosh, well, that's great news. That's always great news.
It is.
And I'll give additional insight here. It's absolutely your joint manifestation. Matt, you had a lot to do with this. And that little child that's on their way is an ancient, I like to say, gladiator of love and joy, here to rock and roll. He or she picked you, you picked them. There's this meeting beyond the veils. You know all about that. But then when it comes to bringing a manifestation to the light of day, it's always jockeying for its place. And I'm not trying to imply your newborn will be a jockey, but it's each of our thoughts. And scientists say we think, 60,000 thoughts a day. Each of them is looking for the light of day. And each of us has these ongoing, deeper desires of harmony, of family, of joy, of creative expression, of prosperity. And we have some of those programs of fear and doubt and negativity. And so there's always this shifting around of many, many, sometimes unspoken desires. What happens though is when there is an alignment and all of a sudden there's a clear path and it's not in contradiction with our other dreams nor our other fears. And we're doing this collectively as the three of you and those affected by the birth are co-creators as well. Then sometimes there can be this like immediate, like, oh my God, it happened before I finished the sentence practically, such is the case of your third pregnancy here. And it's not always just, I have a thought, let me think it, and then it needs, 7.5 weeks or 7.5 months or 9 months to come to pass. It's working with all of your other priorities in harmony, in synchronization. There's a beautiful orchestration going on all the time with synchronicities. And in the end, given that this is just one big dreamlike adventure in these sacred jungles of time and space, anything and everything that does show up, and sometimes there's surprises, sometimes there's 2 steps back before 3 steps forward, everything plays to a greater good, to your eternal self, your soul, and to this lifetime. And so with this pregnancy happening as lickety split as it did, I can just tell you there was an incredible alignment in connection with your own, and in this case, Alexa's desire to let's get it on. Let's do some more of this. And it's like, green lights.
Well, and you know what? And Matt, I want you to take off, but I just want to add one more thing. Now I keep saying that I wonder if it's twins. Because, and I should get into it because Matt's mom is also psychic. It was hereditary, passed down to him. And she said that we were going to have 3 boys, but then she also kept seeing a girl. And she's like, how am I seeing a girl? Like, are you guys planning on having 4 kids? And I'm like, well, we always wanted 3. So I don't know where that 4th comes from. And she's like, well, I'm seeing a boy and a girl. She's like, I don't know what's next. So I keep telling Matt, and he's like, well, I'm getting snipped after this. So I'm like, wait, but how are you going to get snipped if we're supposed to have 4 kids? We don't really know what we're supposed to have, but anyway, so now I keep saying, I think we might be having twins.
I'm saying,
and Matt's like, no, but you specifically said, don't manifest that. You keep saying it, but don't manifest it. But
I'm saying, let this one come out. And then we'll figure it out. But I'm saying, don't put it out. We haven't even had the 3rd yet. We got 2.
You specifically said, stop putting it out there. Stop putting it out.
I think it's going to be perfect. Okay. That's the best way to roll with manifestations, because there's your guides, your higher self, your soul contract, which is, negotiable and you can change it on the fly. Matt knows about that kind of thing. But I think Matt, with his gift and his mother's gift, that they're able to tune into probabilities and likelihoods. And it sounds like you may be as well, Alexa. We're all a bit psychic. And so I don't think the talk or the back and forth, is it a good idea? Should we, shouldn't we, is going to have as much play as this greater soul purpose and the needs of your kids, present and future. They're gonna steal the show here, and you're gonna be absolutely thrilled. There's room for trust with the law of attraction. You put out what you want or what you think you want, and then you can rest assured that there's going to be guidance and some shifting circumstances that will surprise and delight.
Oh,
I love that you say that.
This just made my life. I am going to very much hold on to that.
I'm so happy that you said that about there being like guidance and nudges along the way and messages along the way, because I think that so many people are nervous, right? Especially like, and listen, people get nervous that they're going to manifest something bad or manifest something accidental. But what's also equally nerve-wracking is when you actually are manifesting your dreams, right? It's something that is amazing and beautiful, but it's also scary when you're stepping into a life that you really, really, really want, right?
Yes.
And I think that one of the most beautiful things is that you can be so confident and say, this is what I want in life. I want to get married. I want to do this. I want to do that. But how many people find their soulmate and yet they get those wedding day jitters, or they're afraid to go down the aisle, right? And what's so beautiful is what you just said, Mike, that like the universe is going to guide you. They're going to send you signs to show you this is what you wanted. It's here and you are on the right path, and give you messages to increase that along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in addition to the law of attraction, this symphony, this harmony of the universe and the love that holds it all together gently guides and encourages and finds and musters up the courage you need, and is constantly reading you and your deepest, deepest yearnings and knowing what is best for all involved. So it's not just, when I first came into a realization of the power of our thoughts, I was just like, super excited and then super terrified. It's like, oh, I just had a negative thought. Oh, now I'm afraid this is going to happen. Oh my gosh, I can't stop worrying. I've come to a realization that given the benevolence and the immense love of the universe, that when we keep showing up and doing our best with open heart and open mind, trust and faith are a part of that, then all of the details work themselves out. And I have found that, I'm a really good worrier. I do not like to admit this. I can worry I used to be even better. I'm slowly eroding the need to worry through confidence. But so many of the things I've worried about and thought negatively about have never come to pass. And I know Mark Twain famously said, I've had a great many things to worry about in my life. And fortunately, I never met most of them. We are innately wired to succeed, to thrive, to choose well, and manifest the life that we most want. That's normal. Therefore, the thoughts that we think that are in alignment with the truth of our nature, those become things much, much faster and much easier than thoughts out of alignment with truth. The truth is we are divine gladiators. The truth is we are here for greatness. The truth is happiness, joy, love, and prosperity are our default settings. So when we think, oh, I might not get this, or she doesn't like me, or I said something stupid, that's not in alignment with truth. And those thoughts are much more difficult to bring to pass. We can do it, but they're much more difficult. And knowing that we are innately, naturally inclined to succeed and to move with joy and love and abundance, then we can stop worrying that we worry. And if you worry, go ahead. Just go. I tell myself, worry your little head off, Mike, but at least spend 5 or 10 minutes a day doing creative visualization, imagining a happy, prosperous, harmonious outcome. And even in my fits of fear in the few isolated crises of my life, even when I would go to my sacred 5 or 10 minutes of visualization, I'd worry. I'd be like, no, stop the worrying. Think it's good. It's going to work out great. And then I'd start worrying. I wonder if the pink slip is really pink. Am I going to get fired? And in the end, the stuff I worried about did not come to pass. Not that I haven't perhaps screwed up,
Of
but
course. Yeah.
there's so much more than the law of attraction when you add in the love and the guidance and the benevolence of the universe. So do the best you can with what you got from where you are. Oh my gosh, you're going to crush it.
Oh my God. I'm really excited, I have to say.
I gotta tell you,
really excited.
There was this one quote that Alexa's uncle had said to me, and it just changed my life that I want to share with you because it's exactly what you're talking about. Is that her uncle is like, always happy-go-lucky, like never worried, and has like so many responsibilities, Uncle Harry. And I was saying to him, like, Uncle Harry, like, how come you like never worry? Because I'm like you, Mike. I do worry. Like, I am like, what's it called? Like, always on edge all the time. You might not think that, but like, I'm a control freak, right? I worry all the time. So, long story short, I asked Uncle Harry, how come you don't worry? And he said, Matt, I live by these words, and it changed my life. He says, 90% of the things that you think about are not going to happen. 90% of the things that you worry about are not going to come into fruition. It's not going to happen. And, I think about that, and it's so true. Exactly what you said, Mike, is that think about it. Like, no, he said 99%. Sorry, 99% of the things that you worry about are not going to happen. Right? So the thing is that when you think about that quote, when you live by that quote,
I'd be thinking about the 10%.
No, it's 99. But I think about this when I do worry, and I'm like, why? And it resets my brain. It's like, why am I worrying about this? Like everything that I've worried about, just like you said, Mike, hasn't happened. And like, for example, talk about like going towards your dreams. I'll tell you that worrying is a natural part of life. And, the science behind it is really that as humans, we worry when we don't know the way. We worry that, we see only what our car headlights can show in front of us. We can't see the full map in front of us. But the thing is that at the end of the day, heaven knows, your angels know, and you have to trust in that. And I remember like when we first got married and we first started having kids and whatnot, I started to get really freaked out. I started to worry because I knew that I loved Alexa. I knew that I had this amazing life. I knew that, we just bought our home. We had these kids. We had, Royce. We're on our way to having another kid. We had the TV show. We had all these amazing things. And I started to worry, like, oh my God, what if I don't deserve this? Mm-hmm. What if I do something to screw this up? What if I'm not a good dad? What if I don't? And you have everything in front of you, but you start to worry. After going in and processing and thinking about it, the universe starts to show you, no, you are where you're supposed to be. This is where you're supposed to be. You are doing what you're supposed to do, and we're not going to let you fail.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's so well said, and amen.
Yeah, walk by faith, not by sight. Now, are you religious, Mike? I know sometimes it can be controversial. Like the hardcore Christians are like, no manifesting. It's not,
Wait, that's a thing?
That is a thing.
Well,
yes.
How come it's I don't know if I believe that.
Yes, I know. Listen,
manifesting
we're very
even...
like free thinkers. We're not like tied to one thing. So we're spiritual. Well,
wait a minute. I was born and raised Christian. I did all the steps. I made my communion. I did my baptism, my communion, my confirmation, all of that there. Okay.
Same.
I don't. They don't like what I do in the church, but they still take my money. Okay.
Well, they like what you do in the Greek church.
They like me in the Greek church. They do like me in the Greek church, in the Greek Orthodox.
But how do you consider yourself, Mike? Do you go more like God? Do you go more universe? Are you like spiritual? Are you intertwined with everything? I mean, how do you go about?
I was raised, it sounds like the way you two were, Christian, Catholic, baptized, confirmed, all of that stuff. And like some, I just had so many questions that weren't being answered by my parents or the authorities in the church. I think by the end of my teenage years, I became spiritual, not religious, like the checkbox in Match.com back in the day.
Yes.
And I wrote in one of my books, and I do believe this, and no disrespect meant for anybody. I think religion really needs spirituality. It doesn't always go together, though. Spirituality, however, does not need religion. if you're curious about the law of attraction, the magic of life, the unbelievable odds that we're even alive having this conversation, you will automatically be led to greater answers. And the answers for me have always been kind of simple, and they're echoed in a lot of scripture, a lot of cultures, a lot of religions, that, everything is of God, by God, pure God. There can't be anything outside of God. What would it be? Where would it have come from?
Right.
And we are eternal spiritual sparks of light. We are the eyes and the ears of God come alive in this dream of life because God could, because God wanted to, because it's an adventure, because we're safe. So I'm using the word God right now. Typically I don't, but it's a good placeholder. Call it all that is. Call it source energy, call it the universe. For me, it's all pointing to, again, a benevolence, a supreme intelligence that we are one of, not apart from. And we will rediscover that this is one big love game, and that everyone's doing their best, however poor their best may be. My mother used to say all the time. Ugly stuff happens, but it happens out of fear. It happens out of insecurity. It happens out of an exaggerated sense of vulnerability. People do awful, awful, hideous, disgusting things, but they do a lot of beautiful things too. And that is the norm. That is the expectation. And if we can learn to trust life and have faith and not just drive by our headlights, like Matt was so aptly saying, and we can realize we're part of this bigger picture, and we realize that we have this ultimate playing card where we can shape our future, our present circumstances by what we focus on. Even if there's lack, focus on that $10 you do still have, the shirt that's on your back. Give thanks, feel gratitude. You're alive. My God, how many people have already come and gone and don't have that privilege? And celebrate what is working, and you start seeing more of it, and you start attracting more like-minded people. Like attracts like in this way. You start finding the people that mean well and that trust you as much as you trust them, and it gets easier and easier, and you weld that card, the law of attraction, thoughts become things. That's just part of your magical tool chest, as well as ultimately developing, higher senses, inner faculties. Heaven is on earth, okay? I write these notes from the universe, have been doing so for 25 years. And one of my favorite notes, and I write to people as if the universe, divine intelligence, was giving them a little nudge or a wink every day in a 2 or 3 line email called Notes from the Universe. They're personalized, they're fun, they're free. And one of the notes said something, do you know what's better? Like a million billion times better than getting to the top of the mountain and partying with the gods. I mean, really a hoedown big time party. You know what's better than that? Getting there after first having become so utterly lost and terrified, you thought you never would. When you go through the dark night of the soul, and not that anybody has to go through the dark night of the soul, but when you go through the amnesia and the forgetfulness, and you see the ugliness, and you feel all alone, and then you regain your strength, and you start to see the beauty, and you start to express gratitude, and you start to focus your attention on the love and what's good and what you want more of. And then after that harrowing journey or adventure through fear and terror, then you get to the top of the mountain. You're like, oh my God, I thought that was so real. I was so scared. I thought I'd never find my way. But here I am, bathed in love, surrounded by friends, fully restored in my power and glory. That's why we chose to come here, to get lost, to then be found, and then to help others along the way. It's like, it doesn't get any better than that. Being a light, shining it on the darkened paths of others. Once you figured it out for yourself, this is the love game that we all signed up for. We all existed before this life began. We all carved out that role, that niche, where we would have certain challenges or certain lessons that would lift us eventually into more light and more understanding. And then we all walk each other home, as Ram Dass famously said.
I love that.
I love that too. And honestly, that makes me think of, just in the example that we're talking about, how like my first birth was just so traumatic. And, I went through terrible postpartum depression, terrible postpartum anxiety. I mean, we hit our rough patch. I mean, I was in probably like one of the darkest places of my life. And I always wanted to be a mom. So I just couldn't believe I was feeling this way and these things were happening. And I'm like, this is all I wanted. And then, everything kind of, fixed itself, and I had faith. And now, like, I would never imagine myself now with, like, I could barely do it with one. So I felt. Now it's like, oh my God, now I'm having like back to back. And like, I'm just doing things that I never thought would have been possible for me after that really, really dark place. And now that I figured it out, I do go on social media, and a part of my, what I share is about that and how I got through it, and kind of helping others go through it and telling them to just hang on, like things will get better. I promise.
I think that when you work hard towards something and you go through the trenches and the challenges, you appreciate it more. We all know. Yes. We all know, because we can think about someone in your life right now, right, who was just handed something, and the difference of being handed something instead of working towards something. For example, I know there was this kid in school when I was in school who, like, everybody was like, oh my God, his parents bought him a brand new Mercedes Benz. Well, at the time he had gotten this Mercedes Benz, and to him, it was nothing, right? Yeah. To him, it's like he didn't value it. He didn't find joy in it. He didn't have to work for it. It's like, to him, it was just a car, right? And everybody else was like, oh my God, I wish I could have a car like that. Oh my God, I wish that, my parents could afford to get me that, and so on and so forth. Well, I remember that my parents couldn't afford to get me, a brand new car, yet alone a Mercedes, right? My mom spent $6,000 on my first car, and I thought that was a ton of money back then. And it was just a little black Pontiac. Well, anyway, long story short, I remember what it was like to actually upgrade that car, to buy a Cadillac. It wasn't a brand new Cadillac, but I wanted a Cadillac CTS, and it was a couple years old, and I worked my butt off right after high school, and I bought this car for myself, and I got such enjoyment. I just loved this car. I felt so good about myself. I felt so good about this car because I worked so hard for it. And it was, a vision of my work. I was working 3 jobs at the time. I was just going. I proved to myself, like, I can have this if I just work hard and get it. And I think that's what the universe is trying to show us too. It's that we also have to appreciate the journey. That so many people come to me, Mike, and I want you to just kind of talk about this. And they say, well, Matt, if I manifest, why can't I just manifest $1 million? Why can't I just manifest this? Why can't I just manifest, winning the lottery? And it's like, well, you could, right? But at the same time, is it really going to bring you happiness? Like Mike said, like, getting to the top of the mountain is all about the journey. It's not just about someone handing you $1 million in your lap. Same thing. If you make that $1 million using your talents, gifts, and abilities, that's going to feel 100 times better than it just falling in. And I think that that's what people have to learn with manifesting too.
I teach that the ultimate manifestation, the absolute ultimate dream that everyone ought to have, and I can imagine folks rolling their eyes when I say this, is happiness and joy. I mean, that's the juiciest part of life. But we are so trained to be logical and practical and force and make and push things into place, using our logic and ego alone instead of our heart and our intuition, that it's as if we are taught, if you want joy, you want XYZ, you better figure it out. You better go make it happen. We're not told to trust the universe. We're not told to take baby steps. We're told, you need to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. And people start trying to micromanage their manifestations. And they're okay. Everybody understands that happiness is the biggest prize, but they're like, yeah, but I want to make sure that, I'm happy and rich, and I'm happy and, with Trudy in my life, and I'm happy with Trixie in my life, and that I win the tennis match.
Please talk about this. Talk about this. That's such a good point, because I'll tell you as a medium, how many people come to me and they want to manifest, right? Exactly what you're saying, not true love, right? But this one person that it's like, Matt, how do I manifest being with Tommy? Even though Tommy's going to treat you like shit, doesn't love you, doesn't want to be with you, right? And you're not going to be happy. It's like, but I want him. I want to manifest him. Can you please talk about, I think this is such a huge point, because so many people come to me with this question that they want to manifest this one person, their eye is on this one person who, they think is something about them they're attracted to. I don't know what it is, right?
Yeah.
But they are trying to attract that one person instead of attracting true love. Please talk about this. There's people who need to hear this.
It's a big point of my teachings when I do day-long workshops and in my books. I tell people, do not mess with the cursed hows. Do not worry about how your big dream will come true. Don't try to micromanage step after step. And do not mess with the cursed who's. This is how it plays out the best. Know the area of your life. The area, which is broad brush, it's generalized. What area or areas, plural, of your life would you most like to see transformation? Is it financial abundance? Is it love and romance? Is it creative, fulfilling expression, being of service, surrounded by friends? Pick the areas, and there's no limit. You can pick as many as you want. And then dress up those areas with the details to visualize, creative visualization, trying to steer away from any insistence or attachment to these details that you visualize. But yes, like I said in The Secret, imagine your hands on the steering wheel of your brand new car. Imagine you're washing the hood of that brand new car. Imagine your hand in the palm of perhaps Trixie or Rocky. But when you're done the visualization, which is done to help you really create that picture in your mind. You're breathing reality into the overall picture by dressing it up with details, including you can put times and deadlines, and you can even put people's faces. But when you're done visualizing, if you did it well, you're going to be feeling emotion. You're going to be feeling elation. That's rocket fuel for manifesting. So put these details on your vision board in your mind. Put them in your affirmations as you string together words of empowerment. But once you've done that 10-minute exercise, drop it. Drop the who's, drop the how's, turn it over to the universe, and then start marching with your baby steps. Move in the direction of the general area you want transformation. Move in the direction of love. Move in the direction of availing yourself of abundance. Move in the direction of creative fulfillment. Go back to school if that's something your intuition is telling you to do, concurrently with pressing the flesh and circulating a resume. Do all of these things. Listen to your heart and a little bit your mind. But during the journey, detach, because you can't know how your dream will come true. The universe knows an infinite number of ways to deliver your prosperity, rich financial wealth. That's spiritual. That's fine. That's a great target. Prosperity. The universe knows everybody. You know how many people. 2,000 at best, maybe 200, and you're close with 20. And then you're going to use your little peepers to say, oh, it's got to be Trixie. She completes me. She's my soulmate. The universe is like, I know 8 billion players, and I know people you don't even know. And I know pathways to take and doors to knock on. Just get out there and let me blow your mind. I will give you Trixie or better, but I cannot give you better if you're attached to Trixie. And if it's Trixie and she's already playing these games with you, let go, loosen the reins. Don't attach, don't insist. Use them as a placeholder, but leave space for better. And believe me, when better comes along and it's Bonnie or Cindy or whoever, you're going to be like, oh, Trixie, I hope she finds love. I really had a spot for her in my heart, but it didn't work out. And I found, Bonnie or whoever. Oh, Trixie, what a funny chapter that was in my life. There's always room for better than you can even imagine. So don't limit yourself by attaching to people, details, hows. That's one of the slipperiest slopes when it comes to living deliberately and using the law of attraction wisely. Know the area you want transformation in. Imagine the details. That's step 2. And step 3 is show up without attachment. Knock on doors, stir up possibilities. You're golden.
So I want you to talk about a vision board, Mike, a little bit, because I know you just slightly mentioned it.
Yeah.
And I want you to talk about how it's most effective, because I know there's probably billions of ways people do them. I know I'm one of those people that I do, and you've kind of taught me I do it like as specific as possible. And then I kind of put it in my drawer. And I actually just came across one that I made like maybe 2 years ago. And I couldn't believe what was on it. And I was like, oh my goodness. And so much has come true on it. So what is your advice for for manifesting on a vision board?
Great. So to parlay everything I just shared, and we'll talk about vision boards, I've always dabbled with them. I used to put together little notebooks, 3-ring binders, tight copy machine paper, and I would cut from magazines, things that I wanted to do or have that were symbolic of the life of my dreams. And I would turn the page. There'd be pretty girls, foreign destinations, opulence, prosperity, gorgeous homes. And that gets you in a zone. And for the vision board, or the scrapbook or the vision board or images on your refrigerator or your bathroom mirror, it's all good. You can go to Pinterest and you can do one online and carry it around on your phone or your desktop. You can make wallpapers. These details, and I'm so glad you mentioned the question about the details, they're awesome for jazzing you up like, oh my God, a house like that, with a kitchen like that, and a family like that, and travel destinations, and first class sleeper seats, and oh my God, that's who I really am. The details get the emotional juices like, oh, wow, yes, that's me. That's rocket fuel. That's priceless. But then you've got to live your life. And taking action sometimes is another area where people kind of wait and they wait. They feel like I'm not ready. I will tell them, you are not ready, but start anyway. When you start, you summon the resources you need. After the vision board, after the excitement, after you've clarified your main priority areas for transformation and you've filled it up with rocket fuel with your vision board and what other tools you may choose, then you gotta go. Even though you don't feel ready, even though you feel you're not deserving, even you are deserving. You were born deserving. You're a spark of the divine. Your dreams are sent to you from heaven above to show you what you're capable of. So act on them, even though there's self-doubt, even though you're not sure, even though you don't have the financial resources. Do what you can with what you've got from where you are. And then the resources assemble. I'm sure your career has been the same as mine, both of you, where the things just started coming together. And it's because we started before our ducks were lined up. But it's in the journey, Alexa, that you do not attach to what was on the vision board. The vision board is emblematic as to what you're going to be drawing into your life, or better. It might not be that house on the hill that you love so much. Somebody lives there and it's not even for sale. You can't attach without limiting yourself or divine intelligence. So in the journey, detach. That doesn't mean you don't care. That doesn't mean you don't give 110%. That doesn't mean that you're not mindfully aware of the transformation that's coming. But whatever shows up, take it in stride, use it to the best of your ability, ask for help, knock on new doors, diversify, and then you're always leaving room for better. One tiny final thought. I've used vision boards and scrapbooks my entire life. And I've got to tell you honestly that 99% of what was exactly pictured has never entered my life. But in each of those instances, I got better. Truly better than I knew to ask for. So it was a variation or a deviation or something I didn't even know to ask for. But because I was open during the journey in the baby steps, there was room for shock me, surprise me, blow my mind. And that's the difference. The details will get you excited emotionally about all the juicy stuff that's coming. And then the baby steps will unleash and unlock the floodgates, bringing surprises. You don't even have to think of all the delights that are coming. That's how inclined we are to succeed. You don't have to think, oh, I forgot to fantasize about money today. If you did joy and you're out there doing what you can with what you got, if money's required, and it surely will be, it's coming. It's coming. There's so much wiggle room. You can't get it wrong if you follow these simple steps.
Unbelievable.
It's so funny because, I always tell Alexa that when making vision boards, it's like, always make sure that you don't put yourself in a box, right? That you say, this is the life that I want, or better, you can say that, listen, this is what I'm going after. But if you think that there's something better for me, let it happen.
Yes.
And I got to tell you that this is what I try to teach people too, because a lot of people ask me, well, Matt, what does the spirit say about manifesting? What does the spirit say about, bringing in the good energy and bringing in the things that you want and attracting that energy? And I'll tell you this, Mike, which I'm sure that what I hear is the same thing that you hear, but a little bit different. So many people come to me and they're afraid. Well, what if I put something on my vision board and then I don't want it after, right? And I can't tell you how many times, because I make vision boards, I have notes. I can't tell you how many times I look at my freaking vision boards from years ago and I'm like, thank God that didn't happen.
Me too.
Thank God I didn't get that, because like you said, Mike, I got better. Thank God this didn't happen because that happened, right? And what I want you to know, what souls tell me, and you tell me what your experience has been, because I love comparing notes on this, is that souls tell me that obviously when we're manifesting, we put in the energy out there, and heaven and the universe and your angels and your loved ones are helping to make it happen. But when you put together a vision board, it's so important that you put on there everything that you want, all areas of your life that Mike's talking about, because at the end of the day, the universe is also going to decide, and your angels and your loved ones are going to decide what is actually going to best serve you. If there's something on that vision board that is not going to be good for you, that you think that you want in that moment, but they can bring you better, let them do it, and they will do it. So don't be afraid to write it down, is what I'm trying to say. Because so many people are afraid to do vision boards because they're like, they sit there and they're going like this. But wait a minute now. Do I really want that? Wait a minute. I got to think about it. Don't think about it. Just write it the frig down, and then let your angels and your loved ones, and let them worry about it. Just put down everything that you want from, because people also won't put down the things that they don't think are going to happen. Like, put down that you want to win $1 million. Put down that you want the house put down everything, and then let heaven and the universe decide what they're going to bring you. I mean, have you had experience with that, with hearing that? Because that's what the souls tell me.
This is exactly my non-attachment teachings. It's put it on your vision board. The spirits and the angels, they're like, you're there to decide what you want. You put it down, but don't attach. Don't insist. Have the details to get excited and then go in that direction. But let it fall together in its own time and its own place. That doesn't mean be passive. Do what you can, but when something doesn't show up, don't think, oh, I'm doing this wrong. Oh, I must be self-sabotaging. Alexa, your story of your first pregnancy is a really great model for teaching manifestation, because too often when somebody encounters the unexpected and it's painful, it's the dark night of the soul, they'll label themselves and they'll think, I'm bad, I'm broken, I brought this upon myself, I must have messed up the law of attraction. It's like, everything. That's the benevolence of the universe. And so when something like that happens, it's simply like, I'm learning, I'm growing. This is going to make me stronger. This is going to put me in a place of greater receivership later on. When the relationship doesn't work out in a hypothetical situation, just trust that it's making room for something better. Like you said, there's so many relationships I tried to save, even through the law of attraction, that only in hindsight did I realize that was so not worth saving. I didn't know it could get so much better by these other things happening, instead of thinking, well, I'm not good at relationships. Well, I didn't play it right. It's like, look, if you're moving forward with the best of your ability to give yourself a happy life, like I said earlier, better by these other things happening, instead of thinking, well, I'm not good at relationships.
Now, I have a question as well that you might even roll your eyes and be like, oh, but jinxing.
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about this.
So saying things out loud, or to certain people, or if you say it out loud too much, is that possible to jinx something?
I got to add to this, because I personally believe in this. I don't like to put all my information out there, like what I'm working on, the projects or my dreams that I'm building. Like, I personally don't want anyone else's energy on it. And I drive my team crazy because there's some times where people will be like, or to certain people, or if you say it out loud too much,
Is that possible to jinx something?
I got to add to this because, like, I personally believe in this. I don't like to put all my information.
No, I think there's a place for that, Matt. My mother used to quote some famous dead person, go forth and tell no man. And it was the same sentiment. It's like, sometimes we're coalescing our own energy and we're ramping up our own courage and we're at a deeper level crafting in our mind the possibilities for our next great spurt of growth. And it doesn't serve if we kind of bleed out, well, this is kind of what I'm thinking about, and this is where I'm going to go. You might tell somebody and they're going to rain on your parade. Or that's old news. Or why are you going in that? Don't let yourself be exposed to the peanut gallery who could never know what stirs in your heart, your mind, your intuition, what your angels, what your guides are telling you. So I think it makes a lot of sense, to not overshare.
So when you're putting your energy on something and creating something, right? And you're like going towards it, you're excited, you're happy, you're starting to create, you're starting to manifest, you're putting it all out there. Can someone else's energy, right, screw it up for you? Like, let's say that you're working towards a relationship. Let's say that you're working towards, writing a book, right? And you're starting to put it together and you're manifesting. And then you start to share it and some negative people get word of it or people hear about it, right? Because energy travels. Can that derail you a little bit or can that energy interfere? You're starting to create, you're starting to melt there. Can someone else's energy, right, screw it up for you? Like, let's say that you're working towards a relationship. Let's say that you're working towards, writing a book.
But as we're learning to fly and learning to spread our wings and sometimes self-doubting, and all of a sudden we allow ourselves to be exposed to people with a lot of negativity, and we lower our own guard, that's the danger. Not what somebody else is going to say to you, but if we allow them to bring our own energy down and to start self-doubting, that could have some consequences.
Writing a book, right? And
But as we're learning to fly and learning to spread our wings and sometimes doubting, and all of a sudden we allow ourselves to be exposed with a lot of negativity and we lower our own guard, that's the danger. Not what somebody else is going to say to you, but if we allow them energy down and to start self-doubting, that could have some consequences. Not that we aren't greater.
Writing a book, right? And
But as we're learning to fly and learning to spread, nobody can say, well, I'd be happier or I'd be richer if it wasn't for my spouse. Don't blame anybody else, okay? If you're going to let them bring your energy down, well, then that's an area for you to grow in. And perhaps they're there inviting you to believe more firmly in your own convictions. And that's one of their, hopefully, many gifts to you. And hopefully the other gifts are a lot more fun. Consequences. Not that we aren't greater.
Writing a book, right? And
But as we're learning to fly, to spread our wings, nobody can. And I started to speak a little bit on the jinxing question of Alexa's.
Yeah.
When I kind of went through that realization, which was one of the most exciting of my entire life to live and then to teach, that we don't need to worry that we worry. And I'm not advocating worry, but hey, if you do, it's going to be okay. Just find a few minutes every day to express some positivity and to imagine things going really well in that area where you were doubting. One of the realizations I had was, I said earlier, thoughts in alignment with the truth of life's love and the beauty that's everywhere, those become things much easier. Thoughts out of alignment become things much more difficult. We were advocating worry. It's going to be okay. Just find a few minutes every day to express some positivity and to imagine well in that area where one of the realizations I had more powerful than that little worry or that day-long fear that it's trying to erode your confidence, positive thoughts are at least 10,000 times more powerful than negative thoughts. So when it comes to a jinx, we can torture ourselves like, oh, why did I say that? Oh, what does that reveal? It's like, you're human. You're coming from primitive times. These are primitive times, spiritually speaking, in my view. We're about to enter in the golden era, this great awakening that we're moving through on planet Earth right now. But we're coming from primitive times where, hey, you're going to think a scary thought. You're going to think a fearful thought. You're going to think a self-doubting thought. It ain't nothing. Just do what you can to maintain a modicum of positivity and take baby steps, which speaks volumes of your positivity. A little tiny timid baby step speaks volumes of your innate ability to hold on to a dream and make it come to pass. And so that is eroding the fear. Every day you show up on that path, you're eroding the jinxes. And so I wouldn't worry about jinxing or somebody saying something or, bad luck. That's all superstition. We're much bigger than that. We're much more capable of riding through storms than so-called jinxes.
Oh my goodness, I love that answer.
I got to tell you too, one of the things I love about the movie The Secret is how I think that you guys did an amazing job about just explaining the law of attraction, but also with the visualizations, like how you start your day is how the day is going to be. The energy that you put out there, really just ripples and just keeps going. So like part of the thing that I loved about The Secret was the visualization of waking up in the morning, you get out of bed, you stub your toe, and the next thing you know, you have this roller coaster of bad luck that happens, right? You stub your toe, then the coffee falls on you, then you're in traffic and you're late to work. And it's like your whole day from the moment that you get out of bed and you hit your foot becomes
damn toe,
becomes shit, right? It becomes shit. So let me ask you this, Mike, because I know that this is a question that so many people have. When you get out of bed and you get up on the wrong side of bed, or you have one of those moments where the coffee falls on you, or the alarm didn't go off, or something happened, when you start thinking negatively, what can you do to change those thoughts around? What is a good practice?
Well, first, don't worry that you worry. Okay, I've said that before, but it's really important. Don't think, oh, I'm doomed. Oh, now I'm really an idiot. Oh, God, now I spilled the coffee. I would just say reframe. Reframe. You stubbed your toe. Hey, you were in a hurry. Hey, you're excited about something. You spilled the coffee. That's not a reflection of how the day is going to go. Reframe it. Okay, hey, I need to do a little grounding here. Hey, take a few deep breaths. Hey, relax. I got another day. I get to drink coffee. I got 2 legs to walk out the door. Reframe. And just moment by moment, realize there's a gift in everything, and you're just being asked to perhaps slow down because you got a really cool day ahead of you. And then, one step at a time, 1 hour at a time, as you're focusing on your areas of transformation and showing up with baby steps and doing so with a glad heart. Oh my God, it's such a joy to be here. Such a privilege to be alive. Hey, you get to go to work. You don't have to go to work. It's temporary anyway. It's all temporary. You get to go to work. You're going to meet some new friends. The person who goes to work and hates their job, they think nobody knows. Everybody knows. The person who goes to work and makes the best of it, everybody wants some of that person. Everybody wants them on their team. And it doesn't matter that they don't necessarily love their job, but they're making the best of it. Okay. It's temporary. It's going to lead to greater things. You're going to make some new friends. Maybe at lunch, you'll meet somebody, or maybe you'll discover or refine some talents. Maybe you're going to learn something on computers or in marketing that will help you when you have your own company. Hey, there's something to celebrate. Reframe. You're not stuck. You're not a pawn. You're a powerful gladiator of love and joy. You're going to make this work. You stubbed your toe. Hey, slow down. Take a deep breath. It's all going to be okay. Reframe, and don't beat yourself up if you have a blue day or you're a little bit negative or you're low on energy. Hey, let those feelings go through you. Don't suppress them. Don't deny them. Don't sweep them under the rug in the name of the law of attraction. Hey, feel what you're feeling. It'll leave you. It'll give you clarity, and then you'll be able to go back out on another day.
Oh my goodness.
I feel like
love that.
I feel like this is a constant life lesson for us because, like, with me, you know, I love to control things. I love.
We both do.
We do.
We both
We do.
Just in different areas. Yes, we are very. Yes,
I think
I'm
that
very type A, very controlling.
Well, wait a
Yes.
minute. I think being a psychic medium, it's also kind of like a curse too, because it's like being a medium. I like to know what's going to happen before it happens, right? I'm used to
you.
knowing. I'm used to knowing what happens before it happens, and I think this is it's my greatest superpower, but it's also my greatest weakness because if I don't know what's going to happen, I freak out a little bit because, like I said, it's just me. I'm used to knowing what's going to happen before it does. And I think that there are times when, you know, my angels, my guides, my loved ones on the other side, like really try to go and like shake me out of it so I can have a good time. I'll give you an example.
Yes.
And this is how, like, when sometimes you're even better might not be what you would think was even better. So for example, when Alexa and I were getting married, we were so excited. We got the venue of our dreams in Palm Beach. We were like all over the moon. Planned the date, planned the time, had been planning for a freaking, for you know, I want to say like 8 months to a year.
Yeah, at that point, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, COVID hit. And we had to go and change the date of our wedding. And I was like so upset because, you know, we already had like everything was already coming in. You know, Alexa had.
I was going to say, I feel like we even had a couple things like engraved.
We did.
Like, and I remember, I can't remember what it was, but I remember like, it was supposed to be February 13th, and I'm just seeing that in my head. I remember we had like a couple things February, and I was like, oh, can't even use those. Like, yeah.
So it ended up being that it's supposed to be a year's time. It ended up being like 2 years before we had gotten married. But to be honest with you, it was better than I had imagined because, you know, it gave us more money to plan. It gave us more money to think. It gave us more money to spend. More time, more money to spend, more time to think, more people to you know, consult with, and
details.
Oh my God! Oh, I just think it was crazy. Looking back on this, that we would even try to do a wedding within a year. I mean, what we got needed that 2 years. But what was interesting is that the day that we were supposed to get married, we were actually in Florida. And it was the most beautiful day, right? No cloud in the sky, sun shining. We're like, oh my God.
This would have been great. Yeah.
But it's so weird because it didn't feel like, I remember driving around in the car that day with the top down and thinking to ourselves, like it didn't feel like it was our day.
Like wedding day.
Yeah. We weren't sad on that day, but it was just like, it didn't feel like it was our day.
Yeah.
Then our wedding day came, which we wanted to, like, of course, we're controlling, right? We had to make sure like that. We're like, okay, listen, the month and the time we have to pick has to be a time when like it's like not the rainy season in Florida, like so on and so forth. Talk to the meteorologist.
We hang the rosary beads on our door.
Rosary beads outside the door.
To like avoid rain.
Our wedding day came and it poured.
Like torrential.
Like unbelievable.
Yes.
It poured. And I gotta tell you, I was like, okay. And you know, what was interesting is I had this whole thing mapped out in my head about like where I wanted to take pictures and how I wanted the wedding day to be and what I wanted and what I wanted. Oh my God.
In that area, and we had to change it.
Oh yeah, we had it all set up to be like to get married outside, to how the first look was going to be, how this was going to be, and then it poured, and we had to go to a plan B that I did not know about. It was true. It was a plan that I didn't know about. Alexa didn't know about. Our wedding planner had it and never told us. And I got to tell you, I would have not changed our wedding day.
Not one detail.
Not one detail. It would, because I didn't know what was going to happen next, because nothing was planned, because of the way that it all happened.
Yeah.
It was, I could enjoy the day. It was the most beautiful day. And even though it was raining, something beautiful happened. There wasn't a car on the road. There wasn't anybody around us. We were up on a rooftop that was covered doing our first look. And I remember being so peaceful because you could hear the rain coming down. You looked out on the city. Nobody was there. It was just like a moment with us. And I gotta tell you, I wouldn't have changed a thing.
Yeah.
What a great story.
Yeah.
You know, that's how we're going to look at our lives. Everybody. What a story. Wow. What an adventure. Wow. This and then that. And then exceeded expectations, and the non-attachment played out. You turned it over to the universe. A good lesson for a type A person. I'm one of those as well. It's like, just trust and have faith and prepare to be astounded.
It was amazing. And I'll tell you, even like when Alexa and I first saw each other, of course, we didn't see each other that day. So we didn't know what the other person was thinking. Alexa hadn't talked to me. I hadn't talked to her. So here we are. It's torrential pouring, right? It's like everything is everything. I'm worried about her. She's worried about me. I just can't wait to see her. And it's like, I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, is Alexa going to be disappointed? Oh my God, is Alexa going to be disappointed? Oh my God, does she even know what we're doing? Because I don't know what we're doing. And then it's funny because when after I had first looked at you and like I was crying and we're just so excited, you had said to me, oh my God, it's, if you want to go and take pictures tomorrow when the sun's going to be okay, when the sun's going to be out, we can go and do that. We can get dressed up again. I'm like, I don't want to change anything about this day.
Remember as we did our first look and it was like a sheet of rain coming. It was unbelievable. But then it cleared up and we get to take pictures anywhere we wanted. Remember,
that's right.
The sun was like in our photos and oh my God, it was,
it was incredible.
The universe in action.
And what do they say? A wet knot is harder to pull apart or something. I don't know.
I remember this. I remember this woman trying to be like so positive. I was at my condo getting ready, and I came downstairs to the lobby, and of course everybody was down. All of our neighbors, and they were so excited. And the rain was coming down, and and one of my neighbors looked at me, and she goes, "Don't worry, Matt. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna clear up. It's gonna clear up." And then all of a sudden, we heard this huge thunder. It was like boom, right? The whole building shook, and the lightning was going, and everyone just sat there, and we just friggin' laughed because we're like, she's trying to be positive, but of course, like,
it's so funny. No, they say that because you tie the knot, a wet knot. I don't know. They say it's good luck. They say.
I heard the same thing. It rained on my wedding. We had an outdoor parade in San Miguel de Allende in Mexico, and it was pouring.
No.
But the reframe. A couple of folks said, this is a great omen. This means a happy, long marriage.
Yes,
and it was
exactly what they told us.
It was the happiest day of my life, and we're still happily married. And it's like, it's so much more memorable.
Yes.
Just roll and trust is beautiful.
Yes.
Oh my God, it was amazing. It was incredible. And I think that's what the universe does for you, right? Is that the universe, your angels and your guides know what's going to be special for you, knows what you're going to look back on and say, I wouldn't change a thing. And I think that as long as we allow, you say this best, Mike, because as long as you allow it to happen, it will happen, and it will be better than you ever imagined.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We can't imagine how great things will be. We're in these little encased bodies with little tiny brains with very limited experience. But when we do our best to portray and focus on joy and becoming and adventure and prosperity, the universe will always take us higher. When a dream comes true, it's always better than when you dreamed it. And this is, I would say, by design. It's just a function of when a little human being has a dream and they can't even fathom the glory that's possible by having the dream and honoring it, then expectations will always be exceeded.
I see this all the time as a medium. I got to tell you, and I can't tell you how many times people will argue with me. What I mean by that is that, like, somebody will come to me and say, like, I want a life with, as you say, Trixie, right? I want a life with Trixie. I want to get married to Trixie. I want to have a house with Trixie. I want to do this with Trixie, and I'll be happy having this, and this. But when I tune in and I connect with their loved ones on the other side, I'll see that, well, you think that's great? This is what heaven has in store for you. And even when you describe it to them, even when you tell the person, like, this is what heaven has for you. Like, you're going to meet this person, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do that. They can't see it. And like, I always leave a reading, even when someone's going through a really hard time or when someone is stuck in a box, it's amazing to look at someone's life when they're going through a tough time and be able to see the future of them living their best life possible. And I think that is one of the things that, like, more people need to trust and to realize is that, like, there is a better life for you that's waiting for you every single day. Every single day, things can get better, right? And it's about just knowing that there is something, and you don't have to know what it is. Like, it's crazy because when I first met Alexa, before, we actually met one another, I was out there and I was dating, and, there was different people that I was dating at the time, and they were great people, wonderful people, but I kept having this feeling, this message, this nudge that was like, this isn't it. There's something more for you. There's something more for you. There's something more for you.
I had the same nudge.
And then when Alexa and I first got together, you had said that to me, Alexa. You were like, I was like, she was in a relationship and she felt to leave and she was just sitting on the bed. You tell it. You were sitting with your dad on
with my
bed.
dad. I just said, I can't help but it's like eating me alive. I know that there's someone out there for me, someone so much better, someone that, will give me the life that I want, will give me the love that I want, that I'm looking for, someone that has a lot more in common with me, things of that nature. And it ate me a lot. I remember I was like, oh my God, I just can't help but feel this way.
What was weird is that you were having that same thought, probably, I mean, you don't have it written down on the calendar, but probably the same exact time that I was having that thought in my life and we didn't know each other. And I just wonder, like, is that how it works? You think that like when you're having the thought or you want something, like someone you're looking for somebody, that there's also someone at the same time that's looking for you, that's putting that energy out there in the universe to find you.
Absolutely, that's how it works. When you open up to possibilities, then the possibilities multiply and start seeking you, as does players, circumstances, romances, customers, clients, bankers, whatever. When you open up, that's when the connections are made. And you were both opening it up. And it's like, whoa, we got a match here.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome, by the way.
Thank you. And you know what? This always makes me think too. One of the stories that literally stuck with me now we have not watched The Secret since we first met in 2017. So that's when we last watched it together. And one of those stories that stuck with me was the guy who wanted this house so bad and he put it on the vision board and then he found the vision boards. That's kind of how I feel about us, because we were so Matt and I had this dream house and we were like, oh my gosh, we need this house. We belong in this house. I took a picture of it. I put it on the vision board. We prayed for this house, but we were like, oh my God, this house, if this is not for us. And similar, like, wasn't for sale. Someone already had it, like totally wasn't available or on the market or anything. But we were like, oh my God, we would drive by it. Oh my gosh, we would dream about this house. And then a couple years ago, now that we know it was a better opportunity for the house that we're in now. And now I genuinely cannot fathom that we wanted that house compared to the house that we're in, because it's just, this worked out for us in the best way. It's like our dream home, and we renovated it. We made it what we wanted it. And I will tell you, I walk around that house daily, weekly, monthly, and I have so much gratitude. I just walk the halls and I'm like, I cannot believe I live here. I can't believe our children get to grow up here. I can't believe I'm sitting here doing Play-Doh, at this breakfast nook that like I dreamed of having at one point. And we're looking out the window to our beautiful pool in the backyard. And oh my goodness, I walk up and down our halls and I'm just so grateful for where we are. And we actually get to stay in the neighborhood that we were already in. And we literally moved like 3 houses down, but it could not have been better. But it's so true. I mean, the universe will show you something a million times better.
It was a true manifesting story, because we had searched for
5 years.
For 5 years for a house. And we were looking. We were very picky, right? We didn't settle. And like, that's one of the things I love about the law of attraction. You don't have to settle. Don't settle. Right?
Don't
One of the things I love about us too, because we had realtors like, well, you're not going to get everything that you want. And we're like, oh no, we will actually. We absolutely will. And we just stuck to that.
Oh yeah. And it used to be funny because we'd go into houses and the realtor would be like, do you like this? We'd be like, no. She'd
Immediate.
Like, what don't you like? I just don't like it, right? And she'd be like, but what don't you like? I'm like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't see myself living here. Like, I don't know how to. Well, anyway.
Feeling, yeah.
Long story short, what ended up happening is that we literally gave in. We had our son, and talk about like how people like just will dissuade you, right? We had our son, and like people, we were in our condo that we owned, and people were like, "You're gonna raise your son in a condo?" Like they acted like we were raising him like in a tent in the parking lot.
This condo was absolutely beautiful, by the way. I mean, it was like 2 floors, unbelievable, beautiful.
So anyways, long story short, I looked at Alexa, I said, we looked at each other, and luckily we were on the same page, and we're like, listen, we're not finding anything that we like. we can do two things. We can either just run into something just to get something, or we can stick it out. And Alexa's like, I'm fine here. I'm like, I'm fine here too.
You know what it was, Matt? We again, with like gratitude, and we were just content. We were very happy with what we already had. We knew what we wanted, but I said, this is the perfect place to raise a kid. I'm like, our bedroom's right here. The baby's is right across. We only have one baby right now. His room is perfectly right there. And we said, if we happen to get pregnant here again, well, the other baby like sleeps in our room for 6 months in the bassinet. So it'll all work out. And we really we loved what we had.
And we said, you know what? We're going to stay here for the next 5 years if we have to. Like, we made our decision. We threw in the towel. We stopped looking.
Which imagine now with the 3 kids, but see how, because it wasn't the time.
No, so we threw
and now it's the time to have 3
Well, you get
kids.
to finish the story.
I'm
Because
sorry.
we threw in the towel. And then what was crazy is that after throwing in the towel, literally a month later, our neighbor called and said, hey, that house up the street, the friends of yours is putting their house on the market. The owners had passed away. The kids don't want it. And this would be the perfect house for you. It's literally, I could see it from the condo. So, and at first we didn't think it was going to be big enough. We're like, we don't know. And when we walked in, we were like, oh my God, this is the house. And it was, we searched for 5 years, and the house that we really wanted or needed under our noses, we didn't even know it.
Mm-hmm.
You played it so well from the very beginning, with gratitude for where you were, with a model house that you emulated, that got you excited about it, that opened the doors. Then there was the non-attachment. Then there was the surrender. The door was still open. Trust, faith, joy. You played it so well. No wonder.
This, because I know we only have a few minutes left, but before we wrap up, what is the surrender? How important is the surrender? What is that in manifesting?
The surrender is the non-attachment. Okay, you're not surrendering to transformation. You're not giving up on transformation. Remember, that's the starting point. What areas of your life do you want transformation? That you hold fast to, but then you let go of how it's going to show up, and who's going to deliver it, and who's going to be part of the picture. You can have your preferences, you can gravitate, you can put their faces on your vision board, but leave room for better. Don't limit yourself, don't limit the universe through this attachment in the journey, trying to micromanage what comes next. You're surrendering, you're allowing, you're giving the universe latitude to surprise you, yet you continue to live your life, you continue to engage and knock on doors, metaphorically. You had a realtor, and the universe will be able to run with all of that and exceed your expectations. That's how it will work.
I love that. Well, Mike, thank you so much for being on. Before you go, tell everyone about your book, because I love your book.
Yes.
Okay, well, there's 18 of them these days. So
notes from the universe.
The notes from the universe. Well, there's a couple of those, and wait a minute,
I didn't know there was a couple. I thought it was just one.
My goodness.
Oh no, the universe talks. It's the universe talks, right? Is that the one that I was just
Yeah, the website is TUT, the universe talks, TUT.com, where anybody who feels like they might get a kick out of these things, they're a free email that goes out every day, notes from the universe. And if you sign up for that, through a little link in every daily email, you become aware of my next appearance, my membership, or online courses we're doing, backlist courses that we've already done, all in the realm of manifesting, visualizing, affirming, living the life that you were born to live. So tut.com, you'll find my books and all else that I'm up to, tut.com. Thank you both.
I have to say, and I hope this doesn't offend any other guests, this has been hands down my favorite episode.
You're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to say that.
I'm just being honest. We've had great guests, but this just spoke to me on so many levels. And you have such wisdom that I feel like, not many people, if any, hold. So we feel very honored that you've shared it with us and our listeners.
And
today.
also, I've been on Mike's coaching network too. He's got his own coaching network, and it's on Fireside, and you can join up, and he coaches and he talks and he gives wisdom. And I've gotten to be on his. So it's so great that you're here talking to my audience too. I'm happy that they get to meet you.
Well, I have enjoyed this thoroughly. You guys are really so much fun and have so much energy and clarity and wisdom of your own. Thanks for sharing all that you shared, and thanks for having me on your show.
Thanks so much,
Thanks,
Mike.
Mike.